right, we're gonna see an ICE officer just got shot at.
ICE agent shot at? What the fuck?
Turning back to that breaking news out of Chicago,
Whoa.
Customs and Border Protection says agents were shot at while conducting an immigration enforcement operation earlier today. Cameras from our Fox affiliate were there in the aftermath of the shooting. That's the video currently on your screen.
Yeah.
There have been weeks of tension in Chicago over the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration, amid a legal battle over whether the White House can send the National Guard there.
Yeah.
Former acting ICE director Jonathan Fahey is with us. Jonathan,
So they got shot at?
A black Jeep apparently speeds by.
This in
A bunch
Chicago.
of ICE officers. Shots are fired, and the Jeep speeds off.
Yeah.
What's your reaction?
You know, I want to say it would be shocking or something else,
It's
but
really
I feel
not.
like with all of this rhetoric and all this what's been going on in the last several months with this rhetoric, political rhetoric directed at ICE agents, directed at CBP.
I don't really give a fuck, if you want me to be honest, because they could have arrested all the people on the internet that are saying to shoot the ICE officers and stuff like that. There's people that have been advocating for this for a long time, and nothing has ever happened to them. So at a certain point, when is the government not responsible for what they're doing? Like, how is it not their fault whenever you have people that are out there they're just making these posts? Just figure out who's making them.
Okay, this guy's clearly not in touch with reality. The most of the people that are very angry with the government have family members being deported and sent to another country they have no resources in. This realistic depiction of just thinking he's and how do you say this, in the justified field of understanding what's happening is clearly due to his misconception of reality. He thinks that he's entitled to understand that a lot of these people are doing the right thing rather than the wrong thing. And so he is similar to how someone would be sympathetic to brown shirts during World War II, since a lot of these people are deported without a lot of leniency or due process. And he seems to negate that the entirety of the process is extremely illegal and wrong, which is why when the new mayor, Zoran Mamadani, got elected in New York, he threatened to arrest ICE agents for their actions, because a lot of what they're doing is illegal and inhumane in a lot of the aspects that they are trying to preach and espouse to. So again, a lot of this, what is happening is due to the fact that they're trying to push an agenda that it's okay to grab people on the street, disrespect people, skip their due process, and treat them in accordance to skin color, where new laws were passed in accordance to if they had brown skin or had an accent, you had the right to ID them, which is inhumane and also anti-American. Since this is the land of immigrants, you shouldn't be treating people like that at all, and it's a disgusting example of what this country is supposed to represent. So I believe what's happening is a rebellion, and according to what a lot of what I believe is a traditionalist approach to how people in America react to what they believe tyranny is. So
And just go arrest them. It's so simple. Like, advocating violence for federal officers is against the law. It's not your First Amendment right to do that. Everybody knows this who's not retarded. So why are we even putting up with this for even a second? So this is what's so annoying to me, is that, wow, what a big fucking surprise this is happening when you have an entire online ecosystem that is built around goading it into happening.
It's not surprising that the level of violence against them has risen, and something like this,
No,
and
it's
even
not.
something worse than this, are bound to happen.
Eventually, what's going to happen is ICE agents are going to start getting killed. And when that happens, it will give Trump the green light to go full tyrant, full authoritarian, and do everything that he wants to do. That is probably what's going to happen, because people will want that to happen at that point.
okay, so he's admitting at this point that he does see Trump as a tyrant, but the funny part is he added at the end that this is what people would want at this point. That's kind of like the viewpoint that he's saying that you're asking for it, but he doesn't want to take responsibility for it, which is usually what the leader is for a lot of the time. So I believe this guy at the same time is pushing the agenda that it's acceptable for a lot of people to push this narrative that you should censor people online for being upset, or even pointing out what they're doing online is extremely evil and wrong, which is why it's getting such a visceral reaction. And then he is then going toward the side of Trump will be a tyrant, but then his tyranny will be, his tyranny in its whole will be an association with the people would want it. And therefore, if the people would want it, he's pushing the agenda that it's a necessary action, which he's enabling for tyranny. Is essentially what he's saying. His logic lines up to it, to want tyranny, to want the discrimination against people of color in accordance to their accent and skin color so they can be ID'd, and he validates their entire function as a whole, which again I believe is why he's scared, which you can see here, is because he is scared that people will judge him in the long run in history as a very bad person or someone who doesn't get the understanding of humanity as a whole.
Happened because of the rhetoric, and the unfortunate thing is
that's not really, again, it's not a good thing to have like martial law or something like that implemented, because if you think they're not going to do that, you're out of your mind. It's very easy for them to do that. And, oh, the courts say that. Well, who's the military listen to? Who do the police listen to? They're going to listen to who's in power, not the courts. So keep that in mind, too. And it's not, no, it's very, very easy to have happen. And it's a good thing when it's needed. Yes, if you kill a cop, you'll kill anyone. Yes, of course. And so they only need to wait. Yeah, and I think that might be what they're doing. But I think that's a horrible thing, because then you create a precedent of doing this, which is obviously bad. And you're also, in the meantime, putting all of these people's lives at risk because you're using them effectively as bait, right?
these ICE agents are simply doing a job.
ICE needs to shoot back for once. Oh, I've said this before. If anybody, I mean, if you shoot at a police officer, if you shoot at any federal officer, you should just expect to get shot, right? I mean, well, what are we even talking about here?
They're required to do.
Yeah,
and these politicians are, elevating themselves, their status within the Democratic Party by essentially tacitly supporting this type of activity.
Then arrest them.
It's a wonder.
Then arrest them.
This guy's so blood hungry. He's the example of an armchair warrior, for sure, an armchair warrior. His identity politics, it really has him thinking he himself is an ICE agent and the body armor ready to go fight all these people that he hates, but he's a coward. His entire identity is hiding behind the computer screen.
That nobody was hurt.
It's a wonder that nobody's arrested. That's the problem. Is that if you want to stop this stuff from happening, see, people like this, all of these annoying, screeching Karens, they'll go home if they know. Do you think this could be an international play by Trump? Genuine question. Intentional play? I don't think so. Honestly, I just think he's doing a bad job. If you want me to be totally honest, I think that he might use it to his advantage. Like, Trump is, I think, kind of good at taking advantage of situations, but he's generally, I would say, not very great at creating a plan ahead of time. He's good at reacting and he's good at playing the cards he's dealt, but he's not very good at building a deck, if that makes sense. And I think that's my analysis of it. And overall, you're not going to get these people to get off the streets by explaining to them that the raids are okay and they're justified. What you will get them off the streets with, though, is if there is so much overwhelming force that they know that nothing that they do will do anything. And if they try to touch anybody or do anything or scream at people, they'll get arrested. And that's what needs to happen. The reason why you have all of this escalation of violence with ICE agents and everything is because it's allowed to happen. It's allowed to happen by the government. The government could easily crack down on this and start arresting these people, detaining them.
This guy has no idea how political science works. If you start detaining people just because they're talking about it, they're going to get violent, because the detainment's time for being someone who talks out about it is not that long. And if they threaten or say something stupid and you arrest them, they're going to get more violent. If you let them be, they're not going to get violent. They're going to express themselves and that'll be it. But if you arrest them, you validate a lot of what they are saying. a lot of what they are saying is because of that the fact that people, if this guy's opinion actually went through and arrested people, then he would realize very fast that they would get shot at a lot more. They would increase it. They already have this statistic in the police. This has happened plenty of times, and his optics of understanding what should or shouldn't happen is mainly based on his emotional impulse desire. He's a dopamine. The receptors really want to see brown people on the ground. You know what I mean?
And taking them to federal prisons or federal detainment camps, which is what I think they should do. And this isn't for protesters. These are for people that are violent, people who are touching police officers, people that are trying to impede the officers from doing their jobs. Just because you disagree with the law doesn't mean you just get to stand in the way of a truck and make sure it can't go somewhere. And that's what needs to happen. It's simple obstruction. Yeah, it's so simple. Trump needs to big dick these situations. Exactly. You have to scare these people into submission because you can't reason a person out of a position that they didn't reason themselves into. None of these people are here because they've logically come to the conclusion that illegal aliens are good for the country. They're all here because they saw some video of a crying little girl and they think that ICE agents are just killing them. That's the reason why. So you can't explain it to them. There's no point in explaining it to them. You just immediately just crush it completely. And any hope that there's anything that you can do to stop this from happening, you take that dream and you put it in the dirt.
Okay, this guy's gotta be fucking around at this point. He's really this guy hates him, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to, he wants to say it, but his action and his behavior is very how do you say, high level suburban, which is where they live out completely away from it and they're very scared of the optics of it, but they don't understand it from a personal level because they don't understand them as people. They don't see them as human beings. They don't see any of the people being oppressed, grabbed off the street and threatened all the time. People who have to duck under cover all the time just because they're scared to be seen by a police officer or by ICE agents, and completely enact this disgusting behavior to where they feel justified in treating them this way. I believe it's a cold-hearted, disgusting way to see the world. I really do think he is very ingrained with the white supremacist identity politics, and that a lot of his identity is because of that, is or his character, his reflection of who he is and how he sees the situation. It's pretty cold and empty-hearted.
Had to call in local police. Are they allowed, or
emotions
are they not
don't beat
allowed?
logic? I'm sorry.
To actually,
well, it's not that they beat logic. It's that you can't reason with people like this. This is one thing that I've learned about people that are religious, for example. You're never going to reason a person out of, like, for example, if somebody feels like they lived, they say, oh, Jonah lived in a whale for 3 days, or the earth is 6,000 years old. You can show them fossils that date back however many years. You can show them stars, and you can talk about the way that light moves, and then the fact that the stars indicate that, the earth has been here for this long, or anything like that. The universe has been here for this long. You can do everything, but at the end of the day, they never arrived at that conclusion through logic, and they will never leave that conclusion with logic either. You have to meet people where they are. The strongest argument in a lot of cases is not an argument.
Enforce.
So he's just trying to negate any sort of discussion by saying, if you disagree with me, you're not logical and you're crazy, which is kind of fucking ironic because he just projected exactly what he is, which is someone who doesn't want to discuss it, because to discuss it with logic and reason is something he's scared of. Is, again, he believes if you disagree with him, you're not logical as he is. So again, he's avoiding any sort of discussion, and he's trying to negate that by saying, if you don't agree with me, you're not logical like a religious person, which, again, hilarious.
Enforce local law and maybe fire back in a situation like this.
Well, they're certainly allowed to defend.
Oh, if somebody shoots you, should absolutely shoot them. Yeah, 100%, obviously.
Themselves, and also to arrest somebody doing that, because that would be a federal law violation as well. But it just gets so complicated because you have the locality, of Chicago and Illinois as a whole that are.
You know what I think is probably funny? The fact that the ICE agents probably weren't even the real people that they were shooting at, and I bet it was probably just a shooting that happened in Chicago near ICE agents, and this is probably just a coincidence.
Fighting against the governments are fighting against the federal government at every step of the way, so they're really not getting the support that they need, and even the local police probably want to support them, but they're not getting the support from their upper level. So it really is just a bad situation. And again, these agents that are out there, these are moms and dads, brothers, sisters, neighbors of so many people, and they're putting their lives on the line, and they're in fact doing what they're supposed to do. And these politicians, it goes so far beyond irresponsible political rhetoric, what's been going on. And it's sad that we're going to have to be either today or down the road on one of these shows talking about some horrible tragedy that in many respects.
Somebody's going to die. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time. I'm actually shocked that it hasn't happened yet.
To be prevented.
That's what
it already did happen. If you remember, someone tried to assassinate people, but they killed a bunch of prisoners instead. So since there was a lot of hate crime toward the prisoners, no one really paid attention to it. But this guy's only paying attention to the police dying, of course, because he's more concerned about the people aligned with his political ideology, and he's just like an empty-hearted piece of shit ghoul. So the Roach King.
What I think.
Yeah, because it's a strange time in this country when law enforcement officials not only get criticized for doing their
Your
job.
ancestors came to America illegally? Yep. And how'd that work out for the Native Americans? That's not where I want to be, I'll tell you that.
Okay, this guy's a piece of shit. This guy's a piece of shit.
But I mean, they've had bricks and paint cans thrown at them in Chicago for trying to pick up illegal immigrants.
Yeah, it's really insane if you think about it.
Well, they shouldn't have let it. They're letting it happen.
And,
That's the
and
problem.
the rhetoric coming against them, they're routinely, as we talk about a lot here, they're routinely compared to Nazis by our highest level politicians, not just some fringe politician. So it really does say it's acceptable to resist them and what they're doing, and it's acceptable to harm them if you equate them to Nazis and deal.
Well, I mean, again, if that's the case, then why not just escalate the rhetoric at them too? Like
Holy shit, this guy wants a race war so bad. If you're fighting against people of color mainly at the time, this is like a wet dream because you can disguise all your hatred behind the ICE agents and everyone just getting deported. Every Muslim you hate, every Latino you hate, every Arab you hate, every Asian you hate, every Slav you hate, anyone you hate, you're able to now say you can deport them or threaten to deport them, and it's disguised as someone being concerned for someone doing crime. The same as like saying you're suspicious of someone doing a murder. It's so strange.
that people like this will never listen until they're able to feel the consequences of their action.
I think they already do when they see people getting deported and arrested for, again, being there and talking out.
There's never going to be a point where they, okay, well, now we're going to understand this, and it's not, I'm going to get it and figure out what's going on. There's no way that's going to happen. It will always be the same thing every time.
Legitimize everything.
Fight fire with fire? Yeah, exactly.
They're doing, and it's not surprising that certain members of the public are responding this way.
Because then you're proving their point. Again, you're thinking in terms of you're allowing those people to dictate the conversation by thinking that what their point is even relevant to the conversation to begin with. They don't have a point. They're just retards getting mad for no reason. The only point that matters is the points that win the game. I don't care whether, oh, but see, you're proving me right. Good. All right, there you go. You should have should have watched out for it.
It is just, again, the ones that are actually doing their jobs responsibly are the ones that are attacked, which is just the ultimate irony and the tragedy of this whole thing. In addition to
what do you think Republicans should do? Start calling them terrorists? Maybe, yeah. I mean, if it was me, what would I do? If I was Trump and I saw these people doing the ICE stuff, what would I do in terms, whatever they did, I would do that. Like,
okay, so eye for an eye is what he believes in.
I'm the kind of person that, like, I will match somebody's force, right? So, like, for example, a lot of these people that try to, publish, for example, people's addresses and stuff like that. What happens if you publish theirs? Well, I bet they're going to stop it real quick. And that's the difference. Is that these people...
The reason they don't post their addresses is because they have facial recognition and can immediately know where you live, is pretty much the short answer to what he's asking. Is because this already happens. You show up to those places and they go to your house. That's why they wear... The protesters also wear masks sometimes. Because they'll show up to your house and they will question you later.
People are bullies because they run unopposed. But the moment that these people meet an equivalent force or an oppressive force, a force that is actually what they believe that they're...
Okay, now he's just openly calling for oppression. This is white people shit, by the way. They can like say this is for joking, but this is where joking gets you, is where it actually happens and people are getting oppressed and arrested and treated like shit. So, what a fucking dickhead.
They're fighting against. They will immediately crumble. They will stop, and this will be over in a day. They'll just escalate again. No, they won't. They can't. I think that, again, everybody thinks that that's what's going to happen. Most people are not actually violent. They're terrified of it. That's it. Retaliate with punishments. The worse than the offense will stop it. Yeah, exactly.
Not most people are violent. They're terrified of it, and yet he believes violence is going to emerge out of rhetoric itself. Again, I think he's just scared of brown people. I don't think he's actually like someone that's serious.
Wasn't a situation like that in LA? Someone docks a person at docks dice? Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember that exactly. Investigate them as domestic terrorists? Yes. And so, and a lot that you'll start a civil war? No, you won't. The Civil War was a lot bigger than it was. I think that you're really overestimating the amount of people that are out here doing this stuff. You see a few hundred people go out and get mad about this. It's actually a very small amount. It's incredibly easy. I think that COVID is a great example of this. The government exercised a tremendous amount of authoritarian control during COVID, and everybody basically listened. People were mad about it for sure, but they listened. And that's always what's going to happen. People listen to authority and they listen to force.
Tragedy on the street.
All right. This guy is a fucking maniac. His entire identity is just like he wants to be Darth Vader in the Empire. You know what I mean? Star Wars. And he just wants a bunch of clones that think like him and just like attack everyone. That's pretty much it.
Today.
So if this person is caught, what kind of prosecution might they face, given that it's Chicago, Illinois?
Well, the good news is there will be federal charges that could be brought, attempted murder of a federal agent and things of that nature, use of a firearm during a crime of violence. So they really are some serious federal charges, which will carry a serious penalty. Just the firearms offense alone would have a 10-year mandatory minimum. Ooh. But again, your point is overall right.
That's a good start.
Overall good in that you're going to be still trying a case in Chicago where you have citizens that are really turned against ICE agents. So, hopefully you would get a jury that would convict on the facts rather than nullify these situations. And there's also a plethora of state charges, attempted murder, other types of things that could also be brought against this person. And hopefully people for this type of thing would unite and support a prosecution, and ultimately, hopefully, significant sentence would be laid out in this case, because whoever did this needs to be off the streets and off the streets.
Imagine
for good.
ruining your life for an illegal. Yeah, I know.
Anyone that's thinking about doing this needs to see that message and realize it's not worth it.
Yeah, it is fortunate that none of those agents was hit by that random gunfire or directed gunfire. Jonathan Fahey.
It's definitely a good thing, but overall, I think that I don't think that they're addressing this and dealing with these people in the right way. And I think that by not doing that, they're just letting the situation. You're basically letting an infection spread. And the longer that you let an infection like this spread, the more detrimental, the more pervasive, and the more problematic it is. The best thing to do is to go in and immediately root it out and get rid of it before it makes other things worse as well. It's like a virus. Yes, exactly.
Okay, him just saying it's like a virus is fucking insane. That's literally a Hitler speech. They're talking about cutting out the disease in our societies. And they're literally mass displacing people, which is just a genocide. So he's just pushing for more of the agenda, just cutting people out of society and throwing them away, which is wild as fuck. This guy's insane.
Exactly, right? And left's group of pussies. Yeah, again, all the people, again, everybody thinks like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be a fucking extremist. I'm going to, fight for this. When people actually have to put anything on the line, especially whenever it's against just completely oppressive force, nothing is going to happen. They're not going to do anything at all. So I don't know what it is. And
he says they're not going to do anything at all, but that's literally how this entire country was founded, was by fighting back. So, I think that's a very bad move but thank God this guy's like the Roach King who never leaves his room. So we'll be all right.
Then what's this here? Then you have to excuse to amputate? Well, I don't think amputating that is a good thing, right? Tired of Trump pussyfooting around everything? I am too. I'm extremely tired of it, and I find it to be extremely frustrating. I don't know why more people don't realize that and more people don't hold them accountable. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't really care too much about it. And I think that they're afraid, and this is, I think, the big issue, right? Is that people are afraid of the perception of the people that already think that they're Nazis. They're like, oh, well, I don't want these people to call me a Nazi. They're already calling you a Nazi. They're already calling you a fascist. You're trying to seek the approval of people that want to undermine you and make you lose. By the extent that you seeking their approval is losing. If you want those people to like you, just do what they tell you to do. That's it. That's the only way they'll really like you. And that's it. Who cares what these people are saying? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So he just went down that entire speech saying you're not logical if you don't agree with him, and you should be oppressed by any means. And if you disagree with him, again, you're a dumb person or like a religious fanatic. And then he said to have the other side like you, they are the real oppressors because you have to listen to everything they say and they'll like you. He projects and deflects so much of his intent. It's wild, wild as fuck.